Hey guys, and welcome to the 7th video in the wxPython series here on the Coder's Legacy channel. In this video, we're going to take a look at the RadioBox widget. So the thing is about the RadioBox widget is that it's actually connected to the radio buttons. So if you haven't already watched those in the previous video, I kind of advise you do. They aren't directly related, as in you don't need to know the radio buttons to know how to use the RadioBox widget. But it's good to know because at the end of the day, the goal of the RadioBox and the radio buttons are the same, okay, which is to present the user with a bunch of radio buttons to pick from. It's just that the method of delivery is different, okay. The way that you, the developer, create them is a bit different, okay. And I personally find the RadioBox to be a bit more convenient, okay, and you'll understand why very soon, okay. So without further ado, let's begin. Okay, so I'm gonna do self.rb. Okay, the RadioButton and RadioBox have the same abbreviation, or I'll just write rb actually, unless we actually end up needing self later on. So I'll write wx.RadioBox. Now RadioBox actually has a few new parameters that we will take a look at in a minute. The first parameter is just going to be the parent panel, then the label on the RadioBox. Okay, I'll show you what this means in a minute. And what else? The position. Okay, that's compulsory for pretty much everything. And now there's at least one more parameter that we need to add. Okay, there are two new parameters. One of them is called choices. Okay, meaning the choices available inside the RadioBox. And the second one is called major dimension. Let's talk about choices right now. Okay, I'm going to make this string array here, or a list of strings. I'll write option 1, option 2, option 3, and option 4. And there we go. Believe it or not, this is literally all we need to do to create radio buttons inside wxPython. That's it, we're done. To the choices parameter, I just assigned values, okay, and it's going to take these 4 strings and automatically create radio buttons out of them. Okay, so let's run that. Voila, there you go. Here we have 4 radio buttons that are automatically grouped, as you can see. Okay, and there's a label, RadioBox. Okay, if I change it to something else like options, okay, you can see that it changes. Okay, so let's take a look at some other stuff, okay, because this is the very basic implementation. But what if you want to do stuff like maybe change how they appear, like not horizontally, rather vertically? Or what if you want to make it a 2-dimensional RadioBox? What if you want to use some other functions? Like what if you want to return the string? What if you want to return the currently selected value? All that kind of stuff. Let's take a look at that, styles and the functions. We'll take a look at the styles first, okay? Because I want to show you actually the major dimension parameter. Okay, the thing is that style can be equal to one of 2 options. Okay, there are only 2 styles in the RadioBox. Okay, the first one is wx.ra. This is a bit long. Specify calls and rows. I can't remember which one's the default one. It's calls, right? Because if I use calls, because they're already in calls right now, you know, I mean columns. Okay, but if I do this, if I write rows, what's gonna happen? There we go. There we go. You see? If I write columns, then it stacks itself in columns, like horizontally. If I write rows, then we'll end up with these rows like this. Okay? I think that's pretty simple. Now, what major dimension means is that, for example, I said over here, style is equal to rows. Okay? The major dimension is now rows. Okay? If this is columns, the major dimension is going to be columns. So I'm going to do major dimension is equal to, now by default the value of major dimension, spelling mistake there, is equal to the length of this. Okay, so currently the length of the major dimension, the value of the major dimension is 4. So if I print it out like this, it's going to be the same thing. But if I say that the rows will not be more than 2, I'm limiting them, okay? I'm limiting the number of rows. I'm saying the rows will not be more than 2. So what this does is that it creates columns automatically. You see this? Pretty cool, right? We just ended up with a 2D RadioBox. Because basically what happened here is that it says not more than 2 rows. And since we had four radio buttons, it created 2 rows with 2 radio buttons each. Okay? If I do something like 3, take a look at what happens. Okay? So yeah. So that's pretty much it for the styles, which are pretty simple. So let's take a look at some of the functions. Okay? Alright, so what do I do? Well, I want to show you a few basic functions first of all. But before that, let's actually attach an event to this radio box. Okay, so what I'm going to do is rb.bind. Okay, I'm binding it, and what I'm going to do is bind it to the event called RadioBox. Okay, and I'm going to trigger this, bind this to which function? Well, I'm going to create that in a minute, but I'll call it on press or on click, as you know. And I'll come down here and define this function on click, self, and e. These are the 2 parameters that it takes. Self because it's part of a class, e because that's just something that wxPython passes in. Okay, and I'll do rb is equal to e.event, get event object. This will give me the object that triggered the event. Okay, which should be the radio box. So I'm going to do print the radiobox dot get selection. Okay, this should tell me what the currently selected radio button is. Let's see this in practice. So I'll click on option 2, and this says 1. Okay, this says 1. Now the thing is that what get selection does, the get selection method, is that it returns the index of the currently selected radio button. So indexing starts from 0, so option 1 is 0, option 2 is 1, option 3 is 2, option 4 is 3. So let's try that out. Option 4 should be 3, right? So we see 3 printed out over there. Make sense? So what I'm going to do now is something kind of interesting. I'm going to create a text widget, StaticText, wx.StaticText. Okay, and I'm going to make the parent self.panel just like always. Okay, and the label will be something like you have selected null or none. Okay, that's the default label that I want to keep, and the position will be somewhere 200 and 100. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to self.text because I want to access this down here, and I'm going to do self.text.set label. Okay, and I'm going to do get string selection. Okay, rb.get string selection. Now get selection returns the index of the currently selected value. So get string selection, what it does is it returns the string or the label of the currently selected radio button. Pretty cool, right? So I'll just watch what happens here. Okay, now watch this. It currently says you have selected none. Okay, or you know what, a better idea would be to just write option 1 over here, because by default the first value is selected. Okay, so it says you have selected option 1. Now let me click on option 4. Oh, okay, I kind of mistook this for the print function for some reason. This is actually just concatenated. Okay, so if I click option 4 now, okay, what is it? Oh, okay, rb.getString selection. Now let me click option 4 and third time's the charm. So there we go, it changes to option 4. I click on option 2, it changes to option 2. I click on option 3, it changes to option 3, and so on. So yeah, pretty good. Other than this, there are a few more functions. Okay, I won't really show you these because there's not much point. They're pretty simple. Like for example, rb dot get count. This returns the number of radio buttons inside the radio box. Okay, then there's get column count. Okay, this returns the number of columns inside the radio box. Then there's get row count. This returns the number of rows. Okay, and there are a few more things. Okay, there are a lot of different functions. Okay, some of them are even like almost duplicates of each other. Okay, pretty much. So there are a lot of these, and I actually have a link to my website in the description below, so you can find the code over there. You can find a whole list of methods and styles and whatever. Okay, you can find a lot of stuff over there, a whole bunch of examples, a lot of code, okay, for you to work with. So you can go check that out if you guys want to. So, but for the main meat of the matter, we're done. Okay, that's pretty much it. Radio boxes are pretty convenient. They're pretty good. If you just want to create another radio button, you just need to make one more addition over here. That's all there is to it. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you guys subscribe so you don't miss any future content. So I'll see you guys in the later videos, and in the next one, actually, I think we'll be taking a look at either combo boxes or check boxes. Okay, either way, in the next two videos, we'll take a look at these two widgets. Okay, so yeah, until next time.